They literally like put a lien on our house because we weren't paying our taxes. Alex is running the show. You're just tagging along.
Hell, that's been on there about 3 years, and it's never been cleaned.
Yeah, it's yucky up there. It'll clean up.
All this falls on me. I should have checked before I scheduled it.
That call right there is going to propel us. I know it. I don't even know if this is probably right to say or not, but
you don't sell a service, you sell a brand, you sell a story to people. That's what they buy into.
I'm not gonna say it.
60% of businesses will fail in their first 3 years. I'm Mike Andes, and I'm on a mission to fix this. I know the fear, and I felt their pain. For the next 30 days, these owners will be sweating it out while trying to avoid becoming another statistic on this season of Business Boot Camp.
I'm Laryssa.
And I'm Will.
And we own Military Lawn Cuts and Landscaping in Aubrey, Texas.
Today we're going to check in with Will and Laryssa from Military Lawn Cuts and Landscaping. It's a veteran-owned business, and last year, 2021, they did $365,000 in revenue.
Last year we did $365,000. This year we're on pace to do just shy of $700,000. It's going to be around probably that $650 mark.
What's unique about this whole situation is they're planning to start a second location. Now, they've been following my content for a very long time and already implemented pay for performance, P for P, as well as open book management and sharing the numbers with their team. And now they're actually taking one of their team members, Alex, and he's hoping to have him be the general manager for their second location.
I wanted to show you this because these should be the order of priority.
Now, a great stress test is letting the owner leave for a little bit. So what Will's gonna be doing is leaving next week on vacation and letting Alex handle the business on a daily operational level to figure out which parts of the systems and procedures need to be fixed before Will can be removed from daily operations.
Today kicks off our 30-day challenge with the Business Boot Camp, Season 2. We're super excited, super blessed, super grateful and thankful to be a part of this show, and we are so excited for what it's going to bring. Starting next week on Monday, we are going to be running our operation out of a different location. It's going to be at Alex's house, where he's charged us a very reasonable price for rent there, but we have ample parking, a lot of storage over there, which is really going to allow us to grow very well at a great cost point. Also, at the end of this week, what we're going to do, I think on Wednesday, is we're actually going to start to put all the trucks over there to get kind of a quick trial run on Thursday, because Laryssa and I are not going to be here next week. So he is going to be running operations by himself, Elizabeth. They're gonna be running our full operations while we are on vacation.
Tina Riley, you know how to do this, right?
Yeah, I click redispatch it and then move it to the
Perfect.
So like your first priority, like over yellow slips, over estimates, should be scheduling and dispatching jobs. Like that's number one. If people come in asking you questions like, hey, give me something, right? And then running P4P at the end of every day. Estimates take priority over yellow slips because that's sales. It's going to generate more business. And then yellow slips do come before the repair and maintenance.
That's just the way it used to be. Yeah.
No, next week's definitely going to be a test on my mental capacity and ability to handle stress. So
yeah,
let's do this.
You'll be Two estimates, and we're also going to be moving a lot of the shelving units over to Alex's house as the ops manager. So I am actually with Alex this morning. We're out and about, moving and grooving, and he's going to be wearing his estimator hat today.
Run flower bed early. There is insects in the mulch. She's not sure what they are. Pest control company has sprayed weed pull, brown mulch, weed barrier. Beds are in front and small ones around the tree. So there's actually a tree on the side of the house. There's this tree here.
So it's this one here on the right?
It's this one right here on the right.
Okay.
1201.
And she said there were ants in here too, right?
She said insects in the bed, and she doesn't know what they were. It's almost like they sprayed weed killer. It looks heavy grass coverage, but it isn't.
Got a lot of thatch down there.
A lot of it is just the clippings and everything from the lawn. You'll get, and it'll be conveyed to her in the email about the nutsedge, and we'll put her in for a flower bed spray.
Is the seed of nutsedge. Super hard to kill.
I was trying to think of how many estimates to give Alex because we do meat widths and not meat widths, but he's still learning. He's still trying to get comfortable with the numbers on quoting them.
I think we'll gradually get to see, so like as we train him more and he gets better at it and we go down to simple services, we'll be able to see, he'll give us a good feedback and we'll just have to constantly check, hey, how was the route, like we do with the guys like in the field. But for him, and he'll be like, he may be like 15 was easy, I can do that all day, I'm done by 1 o'clock, and then it's like, okay, maybe we can get a little bit more.
So with that, I mean, he's not just an estimator, and he's also writing the estimates and sending the email, and then if it's like a landscape week and the guys come back or have questions, or if they're calling him, like that does set him back.
So today starts the 30-day business boot camp. So I'm gonna get a weekly coaching call with Mike Andes. Appreciate everybody being flexible last week with the cameras around and you guys all being superstars. Again, the whole thing, the reason why we're doing this is to help other people that are trying to grow their business, and hopefully they can see this and get inspired that we're literally having a team meeting in our HOA house, which is kind of cool. Doing $650,000 revenue, growing, opening up a second location. You don't need a big warehouse and all this stuff.
When I was younger, my dad actually helped me hand out flyers and things like that. When I was like 13, 14, he let me use a mower. I had like 6, 7 clients. So I kind of had like a small little business growing up. I joined the Army. I was a paratrooper in the United States Army. Got out and I was like, I knew that I didn't want to work for someone else for the rest of my life. So I know how to do lawn care. So started doing that again. My wife has been helping with the landscaping side of it and everything. We moved down here to Texas, started our company about 3.5 years ago, and we've been growing like a wildfire ever since with God's help and all the guidance I've been seeking and everything like that. So last year we did 365,000. This year we're on pace to do just shy of 700,000. It's going to be around probably that 650 mark.
Where are the cracks in the business now, or things that are preventing it from scaling up further?
Yeah, I think we've been doing a really good job at trying to implement systems kind of similar to kind of your model and everything with so we're on P4P. We do open book management and things like that. So we're in the process of trying to open up a second location, but we just don't exactly know how to do it logistically of structurally setting it up. So we could technically have this location kind of do a lot of that operational standpoint, but it's I'm very conservative. I like the idea of separating them into different LLCs and stuff like that. But then it's you get into the kind of sticky water of okay, well now do you have one CRM and just have different branches? Do you have 2 different emails? Do you have 2 different credit card accounts? So yeah,
is your goal to have many locations down the road, or what's sort of your end goal?
Our goal is in 2025 to at least franchise in the state of Texas. So that way, some of the guys that we're starting to onboard, I just want to basically teach other people how to build a business that runs without them. So that way they can take care of their family and not, work for the rest of their life and do hopefully serve other people as well. So.
All right, so Alex is just finishing up this estimate here, gonna send it to the customer. Also, he's gonna put some notes in the in-service autopilot for mowing and weed control services, because the customer said that they were interested in that and wasn't really happy with their current mow company. So last thing that we're gonna do is hand out some flyers. So we do this on every stop. Anytime we do an estimate, we always hand out roughly about 5 flyers on the surrounding houses. So here we go.
Hi.
So are they.
Now let's check in with Jim Middleton from New Again Home Wash. Now, if you don't know what home wash is, instead of using pressure, it's a soft wash using chemical base and then a rinse of those chemicals, but cleans it really well. But this is the thing, Jim has 9 kids with a 10th one on the way, and he needs to provide for his family.
This will be the first year that I can operate full-time with no strings attached. I say that, but we are expecting a baby in December.
The goal is to be able to do $200,000 in annual revenue come 2023, and that can only be done if he really focuses on marketing.
I'd like to operate our business to more consistent marketing wise rather than, relying so much on referrals.
But the problem with word of mouth is I can't control it. I can't turn the faucet on when I need more leads.
I think referrals ought to be the icing on top, not the meat of the operation.
Jim has spent his entire career in the military and has retired just 2 years ago. And like many vets, when they come back home from duty, a service-based business is exactly what they get involved in because it's easy, barrier to entry, it's able to get started, they're willing to work hard, and they're usually very good at following systems and procedures. And that's what I wanted to instill in Jim's business going forward.
So today we're at this job that my daughter and I quoted on Friday, and the customer accepted the quote. I'm eager to get started. There's fire ant hills all over the place, so I'm trying not to drag hoses through them because they'll crawl right up the hose and tear my hands right up. So we're driving along and I'm just thinking how nice this route is to come over here to the interstate and get to Columbus. I'm like, I never go this route, but I really like it. And I'm thinking we'll stop and get gas up here and come around this corner right here, and lo and behold, here's the man's business that we're going to do a quote for. Ken Fagan, Truck and Trailer.
Mr. Fagan? Okay.
Well, thank you for coming over.
Yeah.
This is was a cabin, and we did it totally. Obviously, we have a lot of trees. I believe this will take 270 out.
Wow.
Over the last 10 years. What I want to do is clean the whole roof here. You can tell that's been on there about 3 years, and it's never been cleaned. I want to clean the garage area, and then there's a lip fascia on the little barn up there. It's only about that wide. I figure we might as well go ahead and get that as well.
Yeah, I'll be glad to take a look at those with you, or if you want to send me around, I can take pictures or whatever. And
okay.
On the quote, it'll have a line item for a roof sweep. That's just getting the leaves and debris. And if you have gutters, do you want those blown out, or just hold off?
We're blowing them out every day. We just cleaned yesterday, and if there's some up there, yes, blow it out, but you don't necessarily have to. But my main thing is cleaning, get those leaves up top, cleaning the roof itself. That up there is going to be worse because it's 2 or 3 years old. You'll see right there in the center, there's some discolorization. The guys oversprayed, and then they clean that off. So the builder tells me is that will match up to the rest of it once the other's clean. So that's yet to be discovered.
You know the square footage on these, by the way?
About 2,080 on this one. And,
you know the garage?
don't have a clue.
Okay.
You can walk it, or
Yeah.
you can walk it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's yucky up there. A lot of growth, but that stuff is meant to come down, so it'll clean up.
I was still in the military full time, and the Lord moved us from Columbia, South Carolina up to the upstate. When that happened, like the job, my pay went down because of the relocation, like the cost of living. You get a certain amount based on where you live in addition to your base pay. So that affected us. Then a few months later, I went from receiving additional pay as a recruiter to no additional pay as a new trainee unit manager. So 2 or 3.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Okay.
It's crazy,
and then
man.
I made a list of everything from pizza delivery to house washing.
Got it. And so were you doing that part-time for a bit while you kind of finished your stint at the military?
Yeah, I still had 3 years remaining, and then I stayed part-time up until April of this year. So I've only been really, truly full-time since April of this year.
Being more of a side gig, do you know what kind of approximately you did in revenue for 2021?
78K.
That's good. That's good. And then this year, kind of about the same in the first 7 or 8 months of business. So you're probably on pace for more like 110, 120? Is that what you're kind of shooting for?
The numbers I just went over this afternoon, I think it's 46K.
And that's in like about the half a year so that you've been doing it full time.
April to November.
Not great. So I'm gonna gas up like we do all the time. It's like all we do is spray water at stuff and drive. Reap what you sow. So we're trying to sow as much as we can as far as prospecting and so forth, and jobs will come in due time. God's in control. This day turned out really good. We just finished up this quote. I do have to schedule 2 minor jobs with a previous customer. Hopefully we can land this one. So we're just keeping it rolling one day at a time and pretty much one job at a time.
And so realistically, for you to feel comfortable with the family and providing, what does it need to, like bottom line take home pay, what does it need to really be producing?
So a job a day in the winter, like there's 28 working days left between now and December 31st. Our average ticket is $565. If I had 28 jobs between now and December 31st, it's just one job a day, which only takes 3 hours. My conversion ratio, my closing ratio is 65%.
And where are those leads coming from right now?
I've got info on marketing campaigns that we've done through EDDM, Text Magic, mass texting, and yard signs. All that brought in 15K since April. Word of mouth and just being out working, approaching people approaching me, etc., brought in the other 30K. Everything we make goes to the family now. Like, for example, there was about 15K in business expenses. The other 30 or 32K went towards our family. The business is starving. Like I've never consistently marketed month after month.
Okay.
I'm at 5.5x ROI for my marketing endeavors. So that seems low to me.
I think my goal is first and foremost to maximize at least just by yourself, because I think the goal is down the road to have more of a full-time employee. But if you can get a job a day, you multiply that by, let's say call it 200 days in the year, you can easily do 110, 115,000 in this line of work by yourself with a pretty good margin on that, simply due to the fact that you don't have employees or a whole lot of overhead. Honestly, I look at it in like, there's a few things. Like I think number one, the biggest issue is just getting the number of leads in the door. 65% close ratio tells me your pricing is probably on point. It's simply a matter of people knowing who you are and you telling your story.
I don't have a Facebook presence. I don't have any online presence right now. And the website is technically just a landing page for people to request a quote. That's all it is.
And is that being updated or changed right now?
I want to spend the $3.99 a month on service business web design.
I think you're too small to do home service web design, honestly. So this is what I want to do. And that is, I'm going to go ahead and get you started on it. And then basically you don't have to start paying on it basically for the next year. You don't have to pay for it in general if we don't get over $200,000 next year in revenue. I think it's really, really doable. I think really it's a matter of, when I looked at the numbers and in knowing what you have per job and your capacity even at 200,000, it simply just comes down to a marketing game. This entire month is just a matter of like, how do we get more leads? When you only need one job a day, that literally means you probably need about 4 to 5 people in your entire market searching for that search term in your area to be able to fill your schedule. Because that means if 4 or 5 people are searching it and you're in the top 2 or 3 spots, you're probably gonna get clicked on twice. And if you have a 65% close ratio, you're gonna get a job. With your market being the size it is, that shouldn't be a problem. That's more of a long-term fix, and I'm very confident in that. So it'd be a matter of like, I want to make sure we get you set up, and then you literally do not have to pay me a single penny unless you're doing over $200,000 next year. Hey boot campers, it's Mike Andes, and if you own a lawn care or landscaping business, I'd like to invite you to Landscape Summit 2023, happening in January of this coming year. It's the event of the year for anyone that's in the green industry, and you're going to be hearing from speakers that have all ran lawn care and landscaping businesses that are 7, 8, and even 9-figure companies. It's going to be an incredible event that you want to bring your spouse, your managers, and your employees and team to get the year started off on the right foot. Book it today. Go to mikeandes.com/summit. Let's jump back to Texas and check in with Alex, the new general manager at Military Lawn Cuts, and see if he's ready to take the reins over while Will and Laryssa, the owners, are out of town.
I got an email from our tax accountant earlier today saying that we need to grant her access to some kind of software or something, and I'm not entirely sure what it's for, but obviously she's been our accountant for like a couple years now. I feel like once a quarter, there's always like something that's coming up that doesn't have access or something, in the beginning, we were getting so many like late filing fees and things like that, which I had to address with her and everything. So much so that like they literally like put a lien on our house because we weren't paying our taxes, which, I had to go out there and talk to our accountant and just straighten everything out and things like that. But these are just a lot of admin things that we deal with as business owners on a day-to-day basis that we're trying to really kind of hash out so that way everything runs smoothly. And I don't even know if this is probably right to say or not, but I'm not going to say it.
I'll be more than happy to give you a call back. I work Mondays through Thursday, 7 to 4. If I missed your call, I will call you back as soon as I return. Thank you and have a great day.
Hey, good afternoon, Robin. My name is Will. I'm with Military Lawn Cuts, and I'm calling in regards to trying to give our accountant access so that way we can get our taxes paid. If you can give me a call back, and that will be awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day. It's interesting when you call their number and it doesn't even ring. It just goes straight to voicemail. But you heard them. In between the hours, it's 12:24. They should be in the office, so we'll see what happens. It's official. This is the last day. We will no longer be operating here. All right, this is the first load of the transition. Got everything semi-moved in.
Running a second and third location literally is the way to find the holes in the business because you can't physically be at both at the same time. Just prepare yourself kind of emotionally, honestly, for next spring, because you will find every single issue in the business and your employees the moment you do 2 locations. So what you want to figure out is staying at the top of both, you'll feel more in control. That's a good thing. If you're the CEO, but then you kind of have a general manager, it's sometimes hard for them to find their footing in terms of leadership inside the company. The CEO shows up a couple times a week and tells everyone what to do, but I'm the general manager or operations manager. Well, what happens if the CEO is not here? Am I in charge? Like, you want to very clearly define what that role for them looks like and what that chain of command is going to look like once you're gone.
Originally, I was like, no, we need to separate it, LLC, like all this stuff, right? But I just feel like it would be very difficult to find a general manager that, number one, works hard and is physically capable out in the field. Number two, has leadership capabilities. Number three, has high EQ that can actually dictate and hire like quality candidates. Like getting that well-rounded person, I just feel like would be very, very difficult per se, going that route,
Totally. And that's when like the systems have to be dialed in to be able to take a lower level talent and make them be profitable and efficient and make it work. The thing that always ends up happening is what happens when you're gone, right? If sales stop when you're gone, you still just built yourself a bigger job. And that's my concern is, okay, let's go 800,000 next year at this location. Let's say 250,000 the other location. Okay, we're at $1 million. Great. We've really just built ourselves a bigger job. Because if you stop selling or you stop hiring, the organization will still stop. I would be inclined, if separating the two is something you want to do, and I think that the assignment I want you think through this week is, let's really nail down, do we divide it or do we keep them together? Will's really got to clearly define exactly what he wants for the future of the business. Ultimately, as the business owner, you are the one that determines the vision and the goals and the direction the company is going. And if you don't have it clearly defined, it can lead to absolute chaos and ruin a good business. I've seen many business owners always want this illusion of having multiple locations or a franchise, and it ruins their company financially simply because they take a location that's doing really well and making a lot of money and they're like, oh, I should get 2 of these, I should get 3 of those. But because the systems aren't built correctly, their profit margins just get lower and lower and lower because they add overhead expenses like salaries of office people and managing all these people. And there's too many people at the top of the organization, making it too operationally heavy to actually be profitable. I think we need I really want you to parse these 2 options out this week. Is, do we raise the prices on location 1, not necessarily grow as much, and then focus on taking those profits into the second location, because what I don't want you to do is try to grow both at the same time. I think you will literally go crazy, and it'll really deplete your funds, really deplete them, like very scarily. In my opinion, from about February to June of next year, it'd just be a very, very skinny time, because your margins will be going down on your first location at the same time that your second location is sucking cash. What you're also doing when you switch a location from growth into profitability is you're starting to cut out all the things that take your time. So anything that like right now in the business only you can do or like only you can sell, it should be cut out. If that's the model you go. And if you want to get out of daily operations, I would highly recommend not trying to be the salesperson at the top of two different companies, because you just become the bottleneck for everything, and it's going to become harder and harder because you're in such massive growth mode. A location that's doing $2 million in revenue with like a bunch of different services and complexity, like it's going to be very hard to replace yourself in daily operations. I really hope he thinks about simplifying his existing services and making sure he has a higher profit margin than what he's currently bringing in, so that when he does hand the reins over to someone else, there's a greater margin of error when it comes to profitability and being able to invest in future locations. What I want for this week is really for you just to really nail down the pros and the cons of both of those, and really think through, okay, if you want to be out of daily operations, what does that look like? Does the business need to change? Because literally what you have to do if you want to be out of daily operations is everything that you do that other people can't do in the business needs to be removed. Ultimately, growing a $2 million location potentially might actually keep you in the business for the next 5 to 10 years. Let's nail that down this week. And then also I want to look at specific systems that would break regardless of what we do. Whether it be like, okay, what's our sales system? What's our hiring system? Like we need to look at the things that you're currently doing and create some sort of a framework around it so it can work without you. But let's actually dive into a couple of those that are the most pressing that you currently like are struggling with handing off, and start systematizing it just one by one.
All right, guys, so this is going to be the first night that all of the trucks are gone. Look at this corner, not a single truck on it. It's so empty. So we are in the process of putting this rail on the left side of the truck here.
The nice thing and the bad thing about universal fit is everything's made to fit everything. Not so well. For this to nicely slide in, we're off by about an inch for the pre-drilled holes. So what we're gonna do is to regain that flexibility on the other end. We're just gonna drill a single new hole. This guy will be a non-adjustable post, and then we'll gain that 1.5 inch play on the other side to get this guy to slide nicely in, where you don't have to bang or pound or force it. It'll just go right on in and it'll be good to go.
Nice. Something I saw off of one of Mike's videos was the equipment that sits on the truck. He just has like a label maker, and he just like labels them what truck number they are, and then when they bought the piece of equipment. So that way they know. I mean, I don't know if you would want to do when they bought it.
I'm actually one step ahead of you. So all the equipment, as the guys deem what they like, will get relabeled to match the truck number.
Okay.
So Zach's equipment, he drives truck 3. That will be, all of his equipment will be relabeled 3.
Gotcha.
That equipment will stay with that truck and will stay with that employee. There will be a spreadsheet where it's truck 4, equipment 4, serial numbers, purchase date, what it is.
Oh, nice. Okay.
What potentially could happen is you take this location right here now and turn off growth. And what I mean by that is like, hey, we're not going to buy more trucks. We're just going to hire more people and fill up the trucks more. We're going to go from 650 this year to maybe 750, but we're going to raise prices. Our close ratio is going to go down because we're going to raise prices. We're going to raise prices on existing customers and new customers. What I'm concerned about is $150,000 gets burned very quickly when you get a GM involved, because now you got someone overhead, 50, 60,000 plus taxes and then extra car and all the rest of it. And your profit margin literally will get whacked in half, right? You'll go from 150 pulling out of the business down to 60 or 70,000 very quickly, because they're not going to be as good as you. They're not going to put as many hours in as you. They're not going to sell as well as you, etc. That $50,000, $60,000 has to sustain the second location. What is an interesting model though to me is, can we go to 750 and still pull out 150 or 200,000 by raising prices and really just turn that first location into an absolute money machine? Not so much growth, just turn it into a money machine. And now because it's at that size, he doesn't have to be the caliber person that's buying trucks and more equipment and like going going out and selling a whole bunch. There's already this base of customers that he can really just live off of. And then either he learned basic estimating and the sales of those, or potentially you do them. But again, he has this base of customers that is paying a premium price. You're able to pay your guys more. There's better profit sharing. And then you take that $200,000 in profit and you go deploy that against the second location with enough capital to really make it something quicker. All right, brother. Well, welcome to Business Bootcamp. Let's do this.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
Take care, brother. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go. Call one down. Whoo. Sorry, little sweating a little bit. That was an awesome call. He is so knowledgeable, and I know for a fact that call right there is going to propel us. I know it.
Back in South Carolina, Jim with New Again Home Wash is trying to close the deal on a massive roof cleaning project, but the customer demands that it's got to be done literally tomorrow. Let's check in with him and see if he can close the deal on the short turnaround and make the job work.
Today we're headed to a roof cleaning job. It's a painted metal roof, so this will be cool. We'll put on a real strong mix of water, soap, and bleach. Spray it on there, it'll kill the growth, and then rinse it off as needed. So it was the gentleman from yesterday. He approved the quote and he wants the job done today. A bit windy today, so I'm concerned that spraying the roof might be a little difficult, but it should be okay. I plan on being up on the roof with some Cougar Paw safety boots with a rubber mesh sole on the bottom of those Cougar Paw boots. They're really great, excellent for walking roofs, and it's not too steep of a pitch, so Lord willing, we'll be okay. Good.
In the more short term, are you on Facebook and are you on Nextdoor at all?
Mm-mm. I've got this major problem with Facebook. At some point, I hired a guy to start a New Again Facebook page, an independent page. I've got to get to Facebook. They won't answer when I request a name change. So there's like this conflict of the one hooked to our account versus the independent one. It's named this, so I think they won't change our dependent page from the former business name that I named it in 2017, American Patriot Soft Wash. They won't change that to New Again House Wash.
Okay. Do you still have access to the profile or like the page itself as an admin?
Not the independent one. And I've reached out to my buddy that made it, and neither does he. So
can we just start a new one?
And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm open to that. We could name it New Again House Wash Inman, South Carolina or something.
You know, I would just start a new page unless you have like 100 reviews on the old one or something like that. There's no reason to start new. And then literally it's just a matter of like try every single job, do a before and after, and just post it on there. But more importantly, when I think Facebook page, I'm not actually thinking about you making your page. What I'm actually thinking about more is you going into local Facebook groups. So local buy and sells, your community groups, like literally just your city name, and it's search all the different groups. There's 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 500 people here, and introducing yourself, even using your personal page and not your business page. And it's being like, hey, this is my story. I was in the military for 20 years. I've got out. I'm trying to provide for my family. Here's a couple before and after pictures. You will absolutely get a job a day. Like a job a day, you do not need a website. You really don't. And so over the next 30 days, I think we can get to that point very easily without even the website being up yet, because that will take us, probably 6 weeks. But in the next month, Facebook groups and then Nextdoor as well. And your story is what I need you to lean into more. And that needs to come out more in the brand. I think it's more organic to you anyways, not hiding that. And I think that's what's going to be the connection point, is the military and the side of, your belief system and making those connection points.
Sounds good to me.
Jim is an amazing guy that you just can't help but root for. And so I really believe that home service web design is going to allow him to grow in the future. But I truly also believe that $100,000, $200,000 business in annual revenue per year is absolutely attainable by simply just doing good work and then making sure that in the local community on Nextdoor, Facebook local groups, just communicate your story. Don't talk about what you sell. You don't sell a service. You sell a brand. You sell a story to people. That's what they buy into. They buy into the fact that he spent 20 years in the military, has a family of 10 kids that he's got to provide for, and he's trying to make a living for himself. That's the story he's got to sell, and that's the story that's going to make his business blow up over the next 12 months. Are you married to this logo?
What do you suggest?
We can do better. And what is the significance of that house specifically?
It's taken from a picture that we took, and my friend, who's a graphic designer, changed the image to what you see there. Of course, so it's our house. That's the best that I could come up with. I'm open to other input, of course. I've been hearing people say, "Oh, the house looks new again. It looks great. It looks new again." So that's stuck in my head. And then getting out, I didn't want to alienate anyone or make the business about me by sticking with American Patriot. So I just went with what the customers were saying.
I want you to be able to take the same logo. So we're going to use the same logo because there's actual meaning to it. So that's what I was pushing for. I was just making sure this was not like a pictorial, whatever it is. And every single time you do a before and after photo, I literally want it to be, you take a picture before your job, you take one after, you cut the thing in half so it's before and after, and underneath it just make it new again. That's what needs to be posted alongside a blurb of your story on Facebook groups and Nextdoor. I was in the military for 20 years. I have a family of 9, soon to be 10, and to provide for my family, this is what I'm doing. And I'd love for you to help me. I'd love to be of service to you as well as, help provide for my family. I think if you just lean into that, that's your audience. For this week, what I want you to do is Nextdoor and Facebook groups, get on there. I want you to post that picture with before and after with your slogan, that blue, make it new again, just underneath it, and before and after, and just tell your story. 2 paragraphs, what you're doing, what you can do to offer, for them. Don't worry about like linking it to a business page or your website. Post just your personal self. That's totally fine. But lean into your story so you don't get banned on like the Facebook groups. If you go really promotional, they'll just ban you. But if you tell your story and how you are in the local community, you'll stay on. So do those 2 things for me this week. I'd love for you to get that done this weekend so that way, and let's really be able to see next week what that uptake is. But I can almost guarantee if you get in 5 to 10 local Facebook groups and onto Nextdoor, might take you a little bit of time to get verified on Nextdoor, but we got to get that process rolling. I really think that we'll get a job a day really just in that.
Actually, one last thing. So Laryssa and I will not be here next week. So you guys are all running the show.
Okay, so let's go meet with that client. Okay. With our client, and then.
Yeah, just remember, Alex is running the show. You're just tagging along.
Mulch, pansies, the bush trimming. We'll just do it light.
Yes.
It'll probably take me 45 minutes to an hour to trim this guy. I'm going to end up saying an hour and a half per tree.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Veterans Day to all the soldiers out there that are serving this great country, who have served and are serving. We're so thankful for you guys and everything that you guys do to protect us. We had an awesome call last night with Mike Andes, and it was phenomenal. I think the call was at 5:30, and by the time we got done with it, my wife and I were in our office till like 9:30, doing all of our homework and knocking everything out, being super proactive. We're actually doing a barbecue today. So kind of some team building, building rapport with the group and everything. Just appreciating them for all the hard work. And then also, for Veterans Day, kind of getting together. So when in Texas, you got to have good barbecue. Alex can cook a mean brisket. Woo, it's cold out here. What's the temperature? 45 degrees?
It was 48 last time I checked.
You ready for some good brisket?
Yes.
Let's do it. How hungry are you?
I'm so looking forward to it. Alex has made really good brisket before. Awesome. Oh my gosh.
I can't even pick it up.
You can't even grab it.
That looks really
That's
good.
when you know it's a good brisket. Oh yeah.
All right, so this is leftover scraps from lunch, dinner. But we're gonna go ahead and feed these chickens real quick. So I'm gonna throw this in here. Just dump it. Just throw it. So we just got back from Alex's house, eating some good food. We are going to continue to pack tonight because we're leaving super early tomorrow morning. But we are going to be gone all next week. Alex is going to be running shop. Elizabeth is going to be in the office, and business operations are going to keep moving forward.
Next week on Business Boot Camp.
We are going to Disney World today.
I don't want these guys getting sick.
I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you.
They'll get through it. They'll be fine.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay. It was a mess.
It is stressful. I feel guilty.
Use your best judgment. We're all watching it.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, good sir.
One of those nothing to it but to do it situations.
Would you like your business to be on the next season of Business Boot Camp? Take your company to the next level in 30 days by going to mikeandys.com/bootcamp and apply today.
So on the side of our house here, we have all the guys like park on the sides, and every Monday we check the oil on them. So like we try to get them on a flat surface, pop the hoods, let the truck run for like 3 minutes, and then we check the oil on every single one of them. So, but basically the street turns into, instead of a two-way, it turns into like a one-way going to and from, because we have so many trucks and personal vehicles parked on the side of the street. Well, anyways, we got a person that left us a bad review. They like put a 3-star on our Google page, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, why didn't you just come and knock on the door? Like, we would gladly like move or like stop doing that. But somebody who like was not even a customer, just a neighbor, drive by, whoever. But this was like the first time that anybody's ever given us trouble, like operating here on the corner. Like all of our neighbors have been fantastic, awesome. You know, we love the support that we get. But yeah, a couple weeks ago, we got our first 3-star from somebody who's not even a customer of ours.